All right, welcome. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise you see online to talk about something you don't hear about nearly enough, a tech upgrade that just worked. We're diving into one user's story of upgrading a 4-node Proxmox cluster and what it teaches all of us about confidence, fear, and just getting it done. Let's jump in.
If you spend any time on tech forums or Reddit, you know the feeling. You've seen those posts. You've felt that secondhand anxiety. Any big software upgrade seems to be surrounded by this cloud of just dread. It's a constant stream of horror stories that can make even a seasoned sysadmin think twice.
And look, this fear, it's not for nothing. For a lot of people, these upgrades really are a source of some serious anxiety. The internet feels like a sea of panicked sysadmins just dumping logs and begging for a fix. And that's exactly what makes the story we're looking at today so different. Because right into that sea of panic, this post drops. And it was the complete opposite. A story that was almost radical in how simple it was. One user decided to take the plunge and upgrade their lab to Proxmox VE9. And what they reported pretty much defied every one of those scary expectations.
I mean, just listen to that. No dramas whatsoever. There's no big, long list of troubleshooting commands, no weird workarounds. It's just a calm, confident statement that it all just worked. It's such a breath of fresh air compared to all the chaos we usually hear about.
So you really see two completely different ways of thinking here. On one hand, you have the common wisdom, right? The cautious, one node at a time, test everything approach. But our user here? Nope, they just went for it. All 4 nodes, all at once, and they did it remotely. Another person in the thread was so inspired, they did the exact same thing from work, saying they felt free as a bird. It's the kind of move that makes most of us sweat, but for them, it totally paid off.
Okay, so of course, it's not always that simple, right? A success story is fantastic, but the real gold is in the details. So let's dive into some of the technical questions that came up in the discussion, because these are absolutely crucial if you're planning your own upgrade.
So a big question that came up was, hey, can you mix versions? You know, like having a Proxmox 9 node in a cluster that's still mostly on version 8. And the consensus was, yeah, you can do it for a little bit while you're upgrading, but you really shouldn't hang out there. Someone had a great analogy. It's kind of like driving with a flat tire. The car still moves, but you definitely don't want to try any fancy turns. So the bottom line is, get the whole cluster upgraded as fast as you can. All right, here's another thing that came up. A different kind of wrinkle to think about. After a big kernel change like this, is your power bill going to change too? It's a great question, and the answer, well, it's not so simple. Well, it turns out the results for power draw were kind of a mixed bag. The person who started the whole conversation, they saw absolutely no change in their power usage. But then another user jumped in and reported a pretty major 30% spike on one of their nodes after they upgraded. It's just a good reminder that every piece of hardware is different, and it's definitely something you want to keep an eye on.
And the conversation also surfaced a few other really key points. First up, for any of your super critical VMs, like your main firewall, the smart play is to just shut them down gracefully before you start. Next, if you're running really cutting-edge OS versions in your containers, you might run into a few bumps. And surprisingly, a few people mentioned that upgrading Proxmox Backup Server, or PBS, was actually trickier than upgrading Proxmox itself.
And you know, this brings us to what I think is the real magic of this whole thing, the human impact. Because beyond all the tech specs, the most powerful part of this story wasn't how it was done, but how it made other people feel. This quote, man, it just says it all. This person was completely frozen by that fear we talked about in the beginning. They'd been putting off this upgrade for weeks, probably imagining all the ways it could go wrong. And then they saw this one simple, no-drama success story, and it changed everything.
And get this, look how fast it all happened. From the moment they saw that post to taking action was literally a matter of minutes. They just SSH'd into their cluster from work and upgraded the whole shebang, PVE and PBS, without a single problem. Sometimes all it takes is seeing one person walk through that minefield and come out the other side without a scratch,
to find the confidence to do it yourself.
Okay, so the big question is, what does this all mean for you? If you're sitting there looking at that upgrade notification, we can take all this collective wisdom and boil it down to a clear, actionable guide for your own upgrade.
So here it is, your checklist for a smooth upgrade, based on everyone's experience. Number 1, follow the official guide. I know, it's boring, but it works. 2, back up, then back it up again. 3, get all your nodes upgraded in a pretty short time frame. 4, plan for a reboot of everything. Shut down those critical services first. 5, keep an eye on your power usage after it's all done. And number 6, give your Proxmox Backup Server a little extra care and attention.
You know, at the end of the day, this is just such a great reminder that our tech world, it loves to amplify chaos. We all love a good story about a disaster and heroic fix. But there is so much value and so much confidence to be found in these quiet success stories, the ones where things just go right.
So, I want to leave you with this question. We spend so much time and energy planning for the worst-case scenario, for that total catastrophic failure. But what if we shifted our thinking just a little? What if, after you do the prep and you follow the guide, what if it just works? Thanks for watching.